Parashat Lech Lecha, Tufshi and Pai Hai, B'siyata Dishmaya. I want to start with a milas of the b'dichase. That's how you start usually a shir. I once shared in this week's parsha about Bashani. Avram Avini wants to go to Mitzrayim, and he puts in his wife Surah in a teva. How do you call it, a teva in English? In a box. Yeah, Parashat in a box. So the Mitzrayim shouldn't see her. They shouldn't take her away. So he asked, how was it possible a person should get his wife to be maskim to go into a box? It's not an easy task to get it through that she should be maskim to go into a teva, into a box. So he said, very good. He started off telling her, Hinei no yodati ki isha yefas ma'arat. You're very nice, you're beautiful. So when you start off with giving a compliment to the wife, you could afterwards ask her anything. If that was what it's not a milas of b'dichas, that's the truth. If first you tell her, Hinei no yodati ki isha yefas ma'arat, so then you could ask her, you know what, I want to put her into a box, and she's going to be masking. I once, we see, the Gemara learns the Rose Mesechta Bava Metzia, Oikiru l'nashaychu, ki aiche des is asre. It's in Aramic. The definition is, be mechabed your wives, and that way you're going to become rich. Oikiru l'nashaychu, give kavod, yekar, to your wives, ki aiche des is asre. You should be able to become rich. And the Gemara brings, why? Because the bracha in a shtul, in a house, the bracha in a house comes b'schisa isha, like it says in this week's parsha, ela Avram heitiv ba'avura. Because Sarah, Avram got all the goods. So we see that the bracha comes because b'schisa isha, so you should be mechabed the wife. So as normally we learn the Gemara that the Chazal tell us ela Avram heitiv ba'avura because of Sarah. So, because the brucha comes b'schus the wife, you should be a mechabit. But we could say even more. We see over here that Avram was a mechabit. Not only that the pasuk tells us el Avram heitiv ba'avira, how did it start? He gave a good compliments, and that's how it ended up el Avram heitiv ba'avura. There are some that say Hamatzah Shabbos, the Zemiris, one of the songs that they say is Ish Chosid Hoya. You once said the Zemiris Ish Chosid Hoya? No, it's a pier that we say, or that maybe we can leave it for another time because it's a long thing to go in. As we talk about this, I remind myself there's a Ben Ish Chai. The Ben Ish Chai says, he brings down a story. Once there were two people that they wanted the bracha, a blessing, to become rich, to become wealthy. They went to the Rav. One of them, the Rav told them, look, the Gemara gives us a eitzah, be mechabed your wife, you're going to become rich. And that person went home and he started buying his wife nice jewelry, clothing, whatever she wanted, he gave her. Because the second one came to the Rav, and the Rav told him, Chazal tell us aser to aser, aser b'shvil shetis asher. Give him aser, in that case you're going to become rich. And that aser b'shvil shetis asher, in order you should become ashiris. He started giving Meiser, and Baruch Hashem, he became rich. After a while, these two men met. Baruch Hashem, both of them became rich. Shkoyach. Buri chatu Adonai, Elohayni melech u'olam, sha'akol niyu b'dvoroi. They met, and they started talking, and they saw that both of them became rich because of the brucha of this Rav. But they understood that he gave them two separate, different aitzes. One of them he gave the aitzah to be mechabed the wife, and one of them he gave the aitzah to give meiser. So that person that he gave him the aitzah of giving meiser came to the Rav and he said, why didn't the Rav give me this aitzah of being mechabed my wife? In that case, all of the money would have stayed by me. I would have bought nice clothing and jewelry. I wouldn't have to give out anything of the money outside. That was how he understood it. We know that Venosni, whatever you give for tzedukah, you get back. The word Venosni, the Balatirim says, you could read it back and forth. Venosnu. I just want to be Meises, Tam another Nekida. I once said of V'choshev V'yid, he said the word Venosnu that we said now, yeah, you could read it back and forth because like the Balatirim says, whatever you give for tzedukah, you get back. But it's only if you write the word Venosnu without Nekudot. You just write the letters, then you can read it back and forth. But if you write it with Nekudot, after the Vav there's a Shava, and after the after the Nun is a Kometz, and the Suf is also a Shava, and then the Nun is a Malupim. So if you want to read it backwards, it's like U, Se, Nu, Ve. It's not Venosnu, because if you go according to the Nekidis. So he says like this: if someone gives tzedukah and is very stark medagdik and menaked, yeah, to whom and for what, if that's the case, he says, I don't know if it goes backwards, he said. If you give an osnu, then Hashem helps us also an osnu. You don't have to be a medagdikin. You can't be too much medagdik when it comes to tzedukah. But I can put him, let's go back. This person came and he said, why didn't the Rebbe give me this idea of being mechabed the wife? So the Ben Ish Chai told him, what's the comparison of those two eitzes? I gave a gewaldig eitze, because if you gave meiser, not only you became rich on this world, you can have a lot of schar in the world to come, and Olam Haba. But this year that I gave him the eitze to be mechabed his wife, yeah, it's also you get schar on next world and Olam Haba for being mechabed the wife, but it's no comparison to the mitzvah of tzedukah. So you're going to get much more in Olam Haba. And he told him, there's a pasuk in Tehillim, Al tira ki yashir ish ki yirbe kevoid beiso ki loy v'moso yikach hakoil lo yered achrav kevoidoi. That's the pasuk in Tehillim. So it says like this: beisoi means ishtoi. Yeah, the first Mishnah Masechta Yuma, v'chipe ba'ade vad beisoi. Beisoi zi ishtoi. House refers to the wife. So the Melech says like this: Al tiro, don't be afraid if you see ki yasher ish, a person became rich from the eitze of Keyirbe Kevoid Beisoi. He was Marbe Kevoid Beisoi. He was Mechabed his wife. Why? He won't take that with. That he won't take along afterwards after his 120. But if you give Maise for Tzedukah, that you also can take along. But we have to know of this gewaldige Sach. To be Mechabed the wife is a mitzvah, and there's only goods coming out of that. Like Chazal say, Kirin and Shayche Keiche, this is Asre.
Then the real shaila is then why the Ben Ish Chai didn't also give the ace of giving Meiser to the fellow who's Mechabed his wife. Also schar in Olam Haba.
Yeah. Probably that Rav understood that this is going to work better for him. But the other one had the kasha. Why didn't you give me this more pasha taitz? He told him, but you understood that you could take also the other rights of giving meiser, so I wanted to do you better. I wanted to do you better, yeah? You're right.
The Amshiner says, like, I never had the shaila.
What do you mean?
The reason that he gave over to this one, not the other one, is the other one didn't have the shaila. You can come back to the
Hashem tells Avram Avinu, Lech Lecha ma'artzecha, im melatecha, im beis avicha, eruetz asher areko. And Hashem tells him all of the good things that he's going to gain from Lech Lecha. Va'escha legoi gadol, va'avorechecha, va'gad lo shemecha, va'yei brocha. And Rashi says a few pshutim. One pshat Rashi brings a drash. The Eschele Goy Godel means that by Shemona Esrei we're going to start and we're going to say Elekei Avraham. V'avarechecho, Zeh she'oimrem Elekei Yitzchok. V'agad lo shemecho, this is what we say, Elekei Yaakov. Zeh she'oimrem Elekei Yaakov. Yochoil yichoismen bekilon. That when we finish the bracha we should say, Baruch atu Hashem mogen Avraham Yitzchok ve'Yaakov. Talmud Loime v'yei bracha. You're going to be the bracha. The bracha is going to finish Mogen Avraham, not Mogen Avraham Yitzchok v'Yaakov. This is Rashi in this week's parsha. I want to share with you a Gemara. The Gemara says in Masechta Beruchas that every bracha that we make, in order it should be a bracha, it has to have Shem Imalchus. You have to say Hashem's name, Baruch Atu Hashem. You also have to mention Melech, Melech U'Olam. If a bracha doesn't have Shem and Malchus, it's not a bracha. It's a machloikis in Gemara. If you need both Shem and Malchus, Rav says, the Gemara is a Masechta Brachas, Daf Mem Omid Beis. Rav says, Kol bracha she'ein bo askaras Hashem, you're not maskir, reminding Hashem's name, ein a bracha. For Rabbi Yochanan Omar, Kol brucha shein ba malchus. Eina brucha. You have to have also Shem and also malchus, saying Hashem's name and Melech Olam. Toisus over here asks that lechoire by Shemona Esrei we know that usually brucha says Baruch Atu Hashem Elokeinu Melech Olam. Now, not every brucha has to start off with Baruch Atu Hashem Elokeinu Melech Olam because there's a klal Baruch HaSmucha Lechaverta. If you attach one brucha to another, it's enough that the first brucha started off with Shem Malchus, and that Shem Malchus also refers to the second brucha, that's Samuch, like we do every morning Elokeinu Neshama. Elokeinu Neshama doesn't start with Hashem Elokeinu Melech Olam, so that's why we say it together with Asher Yotzar. We started Asher Yotzar Elokeinu Melech Olam, and when we finish Roifech Al Basar and Mafli Laisos, right away we say Elokeinu Neshama. It should become a brucha Smucha Lechaverta, one brucha that's close attached to the other brucha. Now, so Toisvis asks, when it comes to Shemona Esrei, Kemad the whole Shemona Esrei doesn't start with Baruch, Ato Giboyer, Ato Kodosh, Ato Choynain. You start right away, in middle with the Bakoshe. But how does it start? Baruch Atu Hashem Elokeinu. But you don't say even there Elokeinu Melech Olam. If it would have said by the first bracha Baruch Atu Hashem Elokeinu Melech Olam, it would have Shem and Malchus. Then the all other bruchas could be considered bracha Smucha Lechaverta. But by the first brucha we say Baruch Atu Hashem Elokeinu Velekei Aviseinu, Elokei Avraham, Elokei Yitzchok, Velekei Yaakov. But we don't mention Melech Olam. This is the kasha that Toisvis asks, the Rosh asks. A lot of the Rishonim won't understand it. And Toisvis explains that the first brucha Shemona Esrei, Toisvis says, Elokei Avraham have kemoi Malchis. The Avraham Avinu himlech HaKadosh Baruch Hu al kol olam shoidia Malchusai. Before Avraham Avinu, no one knew. Avraham Avinu was the one that was Mediah, was Mefarsim. He announced in the whole world that there's Hashem. So by saying that Hashem is Elokei Avraham, you're already saying Melech Olam, because this was Avraham Avinu's tafkid. He was announcing in the whole world that there's a boiler, a creator. So by saying Elokei Avraham, you're clearly saying Melech Olam. That's the chiddush of Toisvis, and that's why the whole Shemona Esrei is considered that it has Shemi Malchus, because the first bracha you have Hashem Elokeinu. Instead of Melech Olam, you say Elokei Avraham. That's Melech Olam, and then all other bruchas are bruchas Michel Lechaverta. Now, with this Yesod of Toisvis comes the Chidah, and the Chidah says maybe we could explain that this is pshat in the pasuk. What we say over here, Vayei Brocha. Rashi explains that Vayei Brocha goes on the Chasime. The Chasime is Magen Avraham only in your name. He says different. We mentioned now Ve'es Cholegoy Gadoil Zeh Shamrim Elokei Avraham. Now Vayei Bracha, the Bracha is going to become a Bracha, because we mentioned Elokei Avraham, and Avraham was Mediah and Mefarsim announcing that Hashem is the boiler of the whole world, the creator of the whole world, and he runs the whole show. So that's why the Bracha becomes the Bracha, Vayei Bracha. About this Yesod that you need Shem and Malchus by the Bracha, I once saw, I think, in the name of the Toisvis Yom Tiv, that he says, we say, Ba'ashrei Tirul David, Aramimchu Elokai HaMelech, V'avochu Shimchu Lo'ilam Vuet. So he brings down, so we see in this passage, I think that the Yerushalmi quotes, this is the Mekor, that you need Hashem HaMalchis, Aramimchu Elokai HaMelech, V'avochu Shimchu Lo'ilam Vuet. So we say over there that Hashem is Elokai and HaMelech. That's the way how V'avoch Hashem Choloilam Buet, by saying Aremimcha Hashem Elokai HaMelech V'avoch Hashem Choloilam Buet. And because of this Yerushalmi, I think that the Mishnah Berurah in Bir Aloch Hilchas Bruches wants to be Machadish, wants to bring down, there's one of the Achroinim, his name was the Evan Hu Oizer. The Evan Hu Oizer, in the Big Shulchan Aruch, you can see it in the back. The Evan Hu Oizer wants to say that if a person made the bracha, and he only mentioned Melech, Baruch Atu Hashem Elokeinu Melech, but he didn't say Melech Hu Olam, is that enough or not? Melech means a king, but maybe you have to say Melech Hu Olam. So the Mishnah Brida wants to. So the Even Oizer says by saying Melech alone is enough, and it's considered Shem Malchus. Even you didn't say Ha'olam, you only said Melech. So the Mishnah Brida wants to say, according if the Makor of the Shem Malchus is the Yerushalmi, and the Yerushalmi brings down a pasuk Aramimcho Elekai HaMelech V'Avarcha Shimcha L'Olam V'et. It doesn't say over there Melech Ha'olam. It only says Elekai HaMelech. So that's proof that even by saying Shem and Malchus without saying Melech Oilam is enough, it should be considered a good brucha. But we could still a little bit argue with this because it says HaMelech. Maybe when you say HaMelech, you mean to say the known king, the king. Melech alone could be a king, but it doesn't mean that's Melech Oilam. Maybe only Alekai HaMelech, that even though you don't say Oilam, means like Melech Oilam, but by saying Melech alone, maybe it's not enough. But the Mishnah Brida brings down a Biraluche. He uses this for a raya to the Shlita of the Even Oizer.
Maybe that's why you can have Hafsik in Gal Yisrael, because Gal Yisrael starts Hashem Yimlech, so Yisrael, come on. Can we bring on Hashem Yimlech?
Arye, gewaltig Arye. One of the Rishonim, I think the Rekeach, in his Siddur on Tefillah, the Rekeach, says, a new teretz, why Bashman Esrei you don't need Malchus? Because the whole Shemon Esrei is connected to the bruches of Krishma. We start off, Baruch Hashem Elokeinu Melech Olam Yoytzer Oire Voire Choshech. We say all the bruches, all other bruches are connected, Smucha Lechaverto, to the first, Ahava Rabo, Emes V'Yatziv, or everything refers to the Elokeinu Melech Olam of Yoytzer Oire. That's according to Lekul Alme. So the Rekeach says that also refers to Shemana Esrei. That Melech Olam goes till Gual Yisrael, and that's the Melech Olam of Shemana Esrei, and the same is by Ma'ariv. But according to this Rekeach, what's going to be by Mincha? By Mincha we don't have brachas that we start off before. By Mincha we only say Ashrei. Maybe that's the Ashrei that we say. Aramimcha lekai hamelech v'avarcha shimcha lo'olam v'ed. Like the Yerushalmi, that's the lekai hamelech. And then we could say afterwards Mincha, so it refers to this lekai hamelech. Then when Avram Avini goes to Mitzrayim, he tells his wife Surah, Imri no achoisi ot lama yitav li ba'virayich. He tells her, I want, you should say that you are my sister. In that case, Rashi says, they're going to give me a lot of presents. And I'm going to stay alive. They won't kill me. Now this passage is a little bit hard to understand because Avram Avini knows he's putting himself into danger. He's going to Mukim Sakuna Mitzrayim with his wife. And they're going to want to take her for Paroi. And they're going to assume that she is his wife. They're going to want to kill him. So he asks her a favor. And what does he say? Say that you're my sister. What I'm going to gain in that case? Yitav li ba'virach. They're going to give me presents. Agav, another thing, I'm going to stay alive. I'm going to also stay alive. Those two things, it's very hard to understand. First of all, you have to mention the Ike. I'm going to stay alive, they won't kill me. I'm going to have extra credit. Also, Yitli Matonos, they're going to give you Matonos, but not start off with the Yitli Matonos, and then say, Yitavli Bavir, it's going to be good for me that I'm going to get presents, and also I'm going to stay alive. The second question is that there's a pasuk that says, Soine Matonos Yichye. A person that hates matonos, that gives him chiyas, it gives him life. So in a matonos, he is going to be living. So, Adrabah, if Avram goes into a makom sakuna, he shouldn't like matonos. He should say, I don't need matonos. Because so in a matonos hichya, not he's asking for matonos, hitnila matonos. When he's in the danger, the kasha is very strong.
Ramban says that he was punished for going down to Mitzrayim.
Yeah, but I just want to understand logic. Avram Avinu is going down to Mitzrayim and he's afraid that they're going to kill him. So what is he saying? He's telling his wife, you know what I'm going to earn from that you're going to say that you're my sister? First I'm going to get some presents, and also I'm going to stay alive.
Yeah, and I'm only asking on the second kasha. Whatever.
But so in the if he goes into a danger and he wants to stay alive, he should do such skills that help him stay alive. Not do such a thing. Yitli matonos, that means that you want presents, and that's the hepech of staying alive. Because so in the matonos and that could bring you the opposite of yichya. So there's a lot of teritzim. One very nice teretz I saw once from the name of the Kedushas Tzion of Bobov. The Kiddush scene, it says like this. What's called soine matonis? A person is soine matonis. If no one offers him a present, he's not a soine matonis. He didn't have the opportunity to be a soine matonis. No one offered him a matona. When you offer him and you say no, that's when you are a soine matonis. You had the ability to you had the opportunity to get a matona, and you said no. This is what Avraham Avinu meant. I don't need any matonis. Because I need such sgulas, such siyata d'shmai to stay alive, you're going to say achoisi. Yitnu li matonos, they're going to offer me matonos, but I won't take it. I won't accept it. And by not accepting, I'm going to be a soine matonos, I'm going to stay alive because I earn another segula of soine matonos yichye. So by the yitnu li matonos, and I won't accept the matonos, it's going to be v'chois nafshi b'glalach. Now the question is, it's a very nice geschmack, but it seems from the psukim afterwards that it did get matonos. It did get matonos. El Avram heited Bavura, Vahila Shoy Vachamoy. So the truth is that the Targum Yoinesen in the next psukim, El Avram heited Bavura, Vahila Tzoyni Boka Vachamoyim. The Targum Yoinesen says, Vahavoyle midilei. He had of his own. Paro did a lot of good things to Avram. But the Vayahilo, he doesn't refer that he had it from Paroi, he had it from his own. So according to the Targum Yoinesen, we understand Avram, after the whole story, he was so mechubet, everybody gave him such kavod, he started doing business over there. And while doing business, he was very matzliach, and he earned soine, boka, v'chamoidim, all good stuff, but it wasn't from the matunas that he got from the matunas that he got from Paroi. Paroi did with him good things. Maybe he gave him meshoresim, he gave him servants that should help him. Il Avram hated Bavura. But the Vahilo, Tzoyne, Bokar, all other things, Ahron, that is what he got from Paroi, Vavoyle midilei. He had it from his own. He didn't have it before because Rashi says that on his way back, he paid back all his debts. On the way going to Mitzrayim, he stayed at, at inns, and he didn't have what to pay them. Only on the way back he had the money, he paid them. So usually we understand he had the money on the way back, what he got from Paroi. According to the Targum Yoinesen, he didn't have it from Paroi. He worked, and he was matzliach, and he had from his own. So he had the opportunity to get matonos, and he didn't accept the matonos. That was v'chois nafshi b'glalach. So that's the akdum. It's one idea. He only wants to get the v'chois nafshi b'glalach. I need an extra credit sibbe to get the schus of staying alive. By that they're going to offer me matonos and I won't accept it. I'm going to get this skilla from the Choyz Nafshi B'Glalach. Afterwards in the Parsha, Lot and Avram, it started the machloikis. Vayiriv between the Roya Miknei Avram and the Roya Miknei Lot. There was a fight. Rashi explains what was the fight because the Roya Tzoin, how do you say Roya Tzoin? Shepherds? No. Yeah, shepherds. The shepherds of Lot were Reshuim, and they used to go in fields of other people and give food for the behemoths. And the shepherds of Avram told them it's Gezel. And they said, no, Hashem gave Eretz Yisrael to Avram, and he has no Yoirish. Lot is going to be the Yoirish, so it's not Gezel. And the Pasuk says no, that the Royim, the shepherds of Avram, were right, because meanwhile Kanani and Aprizia were still in Eretz Yisrael, and Avram was Yadzoiche in Eretz Yisrael. It says like this: Vayomer Avram Aloy. Avram tells to Lot, Al not tehi meriva beini eveinecha, evein royai evein royecha, ki anoshim achem anochni. I don't want it should be a fight between us two, between my shepherds and your shepherds, because we are close. We are cousins. We are not cousins. We are an uncle and a nephew. So that's why he tells him, separate yourself from me. If you're going to go to the left, I'm going to go to the right. And the pasuk says afterwards, they separated themselves. Ishmael. The Shluach Kudish says there's a difference between the word riv and meriva. Riv is loshen zochoy, meriva is loshen nekeva. He says like this: riv is a fight. Meriva is when it spreads. It becomes more and more. Like in a kaiva, gives fruit. Yeah, she bears children. So a fight, if it goes and it expands, that's considered a meriva. In the beginning it was only a riv, and it didn't have any connection to Avram with Lot. It was only between the shepherds of Avram and the shepherds of Lot. But Avram Avinu was very smart, and he knew what happens. With the time, this riv could become a meriva, and it could mix in also Avram and Lot. So that's why he says, "Vayomer Avram el Lot." Al not tehi meriva. Let's stop it now. It's meanwhile only a riv. Stop it now by the riv. Don't let it become a meriva. Beini iveinecha, ivein roya, ivein royecha. Meanwhile, it's only bein roya, ivein royecha. But it could expand and it could come to such a matziv that it's going to be a meriva between us two. So al not tehi meriva beini iveinecha. And that's why the Gemara says, "Toile eretz al belima." Yeah, we say that pasuk. So the Gemara explains what's the definition of Toile Eretz. Parashat, the definition is that Hashem holds the whole world and nothing. The existence and the keeping of the world, Toile Eretz, al belima, nothing. Only Hashem's koich, He holds the whole world. But the Gemara says, Einu oilam miskayim, elu al misheboilem piv b'shas meriva. Who gives koich, existence to the world? A person that he knows how to close his mouth while a machloikis. Boilem piv, he closes his mouth b'shas meriva, when there's a machloikis. Einu oilam miskayim, elu beschis, misheboilem piv b'shas meriva. And the mefarshim amaz b'le gewaltige Sach. It's enough hard not to get mixed in to start the machloikis, but it's even harder when you started already the machloikis and stop in the middle. That's even harder. He told me like this, I won't answer him, I won't give him back. Mine, if I wouldn't start, all right, I'm the nice fellow, I didn't become, I didn't become dirty in this machloikis. But if I'm already anyways involved and I said already something and now he told me back and I shouldn't give it back to him, that's very hard. To stop in middle of the riv, that's Einu oilam eskayim elu al misheboilem piv b'shas meriva. The riv started already, and he keeps himself back. It shouldn't become a meriva. That's pshat toile eretz al belimo. He takes away the ma, even though there is a riv. He doesn't let the riv to become a meriva. He takes away the mem and the high from the both sides. That means it's going to expand and become bigger. That he stops, and that's a gewaltige koyach, because he is the one the fool. You see, he got it, and he didn't have what to answer, and he had to go. He had to walk away. That's the gewaltige koyach of toile eretz al belimo. Boilen pish b'shas meriva. It says, when Avram Avinu tells Lot, "Hiparad nu ma'ilai," we should separate. It's an interesting thing. There's a pasuk Baki Sholem v'rotfeu, and the Mefarshim Hamasbir that a lot of times you have to roidev the Sholem. Parashat will mean roidev the Sholem, run afterwards. But they say no. Sometimes you have to separate the Sholem. Roidev means by roideving and not letting the Sholem. If you see a good person has a kesher with someone that's not good, and the not good person can have chaz v'shula ba'ashpua, influence, not a good influence on the good person, you have to break them down. You can't let them together. Bake Sholem, but you also have to know V'ratfeyu, to be roid of the Sholem. Ahron was Oyev Sholem and roid of Sholem. When he understood that it has to be Oyev Sholem, he was Oyev Sholem. But we understood that he has to separate, he was roid of Sholem. Sometimes the Sholem is by separating, and that's why we can understand that the Balatirim brings often on the posik, Vayipordu Ish Ma'al Ochiv, and the next posik starts Avram. Says the Balaturim, what's the Soifer Tevis Vayipordu Ish Me'al Ochiv and Avram. Ish is a Shein, Me'al is a Lamed, Ochiv is a Vov, and Avram is a Mem. So Zog the Balatirim, because Kedei Lasis Sholom Nispardu Vayipordu, they got separated. Ish Me'al Ochiv Avram. So that's the pshat. Sometimes you have to separate. Avram and Lot have to be separated, and that way it could be shalom. Not always shalom means to be together. There's a word they say on the name of the Havas Yisula Vishnitz. He said it in Yiddish. You have to be good to every person, but not with every person. You have to be good. In Yiddish you say, "Medarv zan gut zi jeden einem, aber nicht mit jeden einem." You have to be good to him, but you don't have to be with him. They bring down a story of the Rabbeinu from Preshische. He once told his Gabuim that he wants to go to a certain city. So his Gabe went, his few Mikuruvim, they went in the, how do you call it, the horse and wagon. They went in, and they went to that city. They arrived over there. They went to the first inn that they found, and the Rabbinim stood outside waiting. And while they were waiting, they see two hard-working people, or they were, how do you call it, that take water, how do you...
water carriers.
Water carriers, how they are walking together. And one of the water carriers asks his friend, did you learn already something today? And the friend answers him, yes. And he tells him what? He said, I learned it was Parshas Vayero, next week's Parsha. It said over there, when Ahron was by Avimelech, after he took away Sarah, he had to give her back because Hashem came to Avimelech at night. So it says, Vayichresu Shneihem Bris. Both of them were koires a bris. So he said, I thought to myself today when I learned this Chumash, how could it be that Avraham Avinu made a bris with Avimelech, a goy? So the other guy tells him, I also learned this pasuk today, and I had another kasha. If they made a bris, why do they have to say Shneihem? Vayichresu bris. Avade, if you make a bris, it's between two people. But now that you ask, we could explain it, he says. Even though they made the bris, they still stay two separate people. Vayichresu Shneihem bris. They made the bris that they won't fight, but they still were Shneihem. They were two separate people. This is Avruam and this is Avimelech. They didn't get connected. Sometimes the shalom is to be separated. You have to be good to every person, but you don't have to be with every person. Now I want to speak a little bit about the Heilige Rishoneh. Zechisa Yugan Olayni Valkol Yisrael Umein. His yahrzeit is tonight, Gimel Cheshvan. There's a lot to talk about him. We don't have any asuge to understand what were his madreges. There's a story when he was still a younger man. He was an avrech, less than 20 years old, and he was by a big chasana, a chassidische chasana, that a lot of tzaddikim participated in that chasana. And one of the grandfathers of that chasna was the Oyev Yisrael, the Apterov. He was the grandfather of the Kala. And he was considered the eldest of the tzaddikim in that generation at that time. So because of that, a lot of tzaddikim came to participate in that chasna. In the middle of the chasna, the holy Rishoneh, the Heilige Rishoneh danced, and his gartel fell down. And the Heilige Apterov, the grandfather, saw it, so he ran to him, and he picked up his gartel, and he turned it around, he put it down on the Heilige Rishoneh. And the son of the Abtruf saw this, and he asked his father, how come? He's still a younger man, and you're the Zayda, you're the grandfather, one of the eldest tzaddikim. The Abtruf told him, believe me, son, when I did this Galila around him, I was mekayim the mitzvah of Galila Sefer Torah. Like Galila Sefer Torah. And he said, even more than that, he said, every Yid, when he's born, it says that the Malach learns with him the whole Torah before he comes out, before he is born, and before he comes out to Avil Oilam, the Malach comes and he gives him a flick on his mouth, and then he forgets the Torah. That's what the Gemara says in Masechta Nida. Before he is born, you learn with the Neshama, and Malach teaches him the whole Torah, and then he forgets it. L'choyre stam. This is what I'm saying, but why does it have to work that way? If he anyways forgets it, why does the Malach have to learn it? So the Mefarshim Hamashpia, if not, he wouldn't have an ability to understand the Torah Hashem. Because he learned it from a Malach before he was born, and then he forgot it, then by learning he could remind himself the Torah that he learned before he was born. So the Abterov told his son, believe me, there was no Malach and no Sorof that had the ha'ozeh, the guts, to give him a flick on his mouth. He didn't forget the Torah that he learned before he was born, because there was no Malach and Sorof that had the guts to go the ha'ozeh and give him a flick. So I did Galila Sefer Torah by putting around the gartel around him. His Pachad Hashem was moiredig. He once said that when he was still a child, 4 years old, his father once took him to a place. Maybe it was, I think, maybe it was before the Shkia, or maybe it was by an ocean. He said, I remember that my father showed me a place where you see the sky and the earth getting together. Nosh k'shemaya v'are ahadode. Yeah, when you look very far, you could see, you see the sky and the earth getting together. So I asked my father while I was a child, over there, the sky finishes, the Himmel, the Shemaim, they finish over there where I'm seeing. So my father told me, no, my child. Above of this Shemaim, there is another Shemaim, and another sky, and another Rekiah. And above all, there is Hashem, the creator of all of this, and we have to serve him. And he said, while my father told me those words, such a pachat came into me that all of my limbs, all of my ivorim, limbs, all of my limbs started shivering, shaking, and they're still shaking till now. That he said when he was already a big tzaddik, and they're still shaking till now. Once, it was on Yom Kippur by Ne'ilah, and he used to daven in their own room. That's how the original tzaddikim daven. They daven in the shul, but in the shul they have a separate room where they daven, and it's considered tefillah b'tzibur. And more than that, you wait till the Rebbe finishes, but how do you know if he's in a room? So they make a simmer when they finish, or they give a knock on the door, or they move the handle of the door. So it was Yom Kippur by Ne'ilah. And the Holy Rishon was in his room, and they were waiting for a sign that he finished davening, so the Baal Tefillah could start saying the Chazoras Hashatz. And it was getting late, and there's no simon. So his eldest son was Reb Shulam Yosef. And they asked him, maybe you go into your father and you see what's going on. He went in, and he was inside for about a half a minute, and he came out, and like after 3-4 minutes, the sign came, and the Rishon showed that you could start. Afterwards, they asked his son what was. He said, very pashut. I know that my father doesn't say any dover shebekdisha only from a siddur. The Holy Rishon, he didn't say anything by heart. Every brocha, he said metoich haksav. Now I came in, I saw him holding by the end of Shemana Esrei of Ne'ilah, and he's trembling so strong that he can't mix over the page to finish the Shemana Esrei. He was pashut standing and froze of Pachad Hashem. He was alone in this room, no one seeing him. So what did I do? I just I turned over the page, so he was able to finish, and within 3-4 minutes he finished Shemana Esrei. So he's standing in Ne'ilah alone in his room, and he's so froze, shaking of Pachad Hashem that he wasn't even able to turn over the page. Now you don't have any shaykhs to such gewaltige madreiges of Yerushalayim, but everybody could have something to be ma'oyer himself a little bit. He very much liked the midah of simcha. He couldn't take if he saw someone that's not besimcha. And he held that simcha is the key to any atzloch and avodas Hashem. Even once Chassidim, elderly Chassidim, sent in one of his small children of the Heilige Rishon, and they sent in the child, he should ask his father, the Holy Rishon, what do you do for an eitzah in avodas Hashem if you feel that it doesn't go? What could he give them an eitzah? And the Holy Rishon told his son, should tell the Chassidim, they should always be besimcha. And if they don't feel that they have the ability to be besimcha, they should even be besimcha from a joke. He said, even be besimcha from a joke. Make a good joke, crack a joke, they call it in English, and become besimcha. You have to be besimcha. And he said, even the poshets the simcha, but the shoyrish of simcha is from the tzad HaKdusha. And the chaz v'shalom, the hepech marash choyre, even the holiest marash choyre, but if it's marash choyre, it has the unique of the sitra achre. Simcha has the unique of the kedisha. Simcha comes from Hashem, and that's why he liked very much being besimcha. He spoke a lot also of doing tshiva, and once a Yid came to him, and he asked him, Rebbe, I want to do tshiva, but I don't know how to do tshiva. So the Heilige Rishon asked him, tell me, and when you did Avaydus, when you did sins, did you know how to do Avaydus? How did you know then to do Avaydus? So the Yid said, Rebbe, I didn't know, I did what I wanted, and afterwards I understood that what I did was Avaydus. So the Holy Rishon answered him, do the same with tshuva. Start doing good things, and then you're gonna be megala, you're gonna see that what you did, that's considered tshuva. He meant to tell them, a person sometimes wants to do tshuva, he wants to know perfectly, exactly what he needs to do from the second. He wants to be 100% perfect. Until he doesn't know, he can't do tshuva. No, that's not the... Till now, you didn't think what you're doing. You did whatever you wanted, and that was how you came to do Avaidus. Start thinking what you do. Take achrayus on what you do. Take the responsibility. Think about what you do. And slowly but surely, you're going to see that you did Shiva, that you became a Baal Shiva. And he also was very much mechazik. Once he was in Odessa. And he found over there a nechet, a einikel of Rabbi Yaakov Emden, the Yavots. His name was Meir. And this einikel of the Emden, of Rabbi Yaakov Emden, was Nebuch. He went off the derech. And he was very far away. And the Heilige Rishna wanted to be a Mekarif, to be a Machzeh B'Tshiva. He spoke to him, and at the end he told him, you know what? I'm going back to where I live, in Ruzhin, in Sadiger. Come along with me, and all of your needs is going to be on me, and stay by me. And this Einikel was Maskim. And he stayed by the Heilige Rishna, and he became a Baal Tshuva. A gewaldige Baal Tshuva he became. He learned, and he davened. And all of his needs was on the Heilige Rishna. Once the Heilige Rishna met him, and he saw that he's very down, he's very tziklapt, broken. So he asked him, what's the problem, Meir? Don't you believe that Hashem accepted your tshuva? You did already tshuva. So this Meir said, yeah, but after I did tshuva, I fell again. And then I started to do tshuva again, and then I fell again. So how many times could I fall and do tshuva? So the Heilige Rishna told him, Hashem never gets upset on a person. You could do tshuva hundreds of times, thousands of times. Hashem wants our tshuva again and again, and he brought him a raya. We say on Yom Kippur by davening, Ki atu solchon liYisrael, imochel l'shifta Yeshurim. So it says solchon, with a nun at the end, umochlon also with a nun at the end. It doesn't say soileach imoichel, it says solchon imochlon. The Gemara says in Bava Metzia, there's a halucha, if you go in the street and you find the chamoyer of your friend, roivetz tachas masoye, that he's, roivetz, how do you say roivetz? He was? Sitting. Yeah, he's sitting. And what? Kneeling. He is kneeling tachas masoye. There's a mitzvah ozef tazev imoy. Help that person that he should be able to make his chamoyer get up ozef tazev imoy. So the Gemara says over there, Roivitz veloy raftzon. What's raftzon? The Gemara explains, sometimes a person has a chamoyer. A chamoyer is called in English a donkey. He has a donkey. Then he does it every second day. Whenever he goes in the street, he has no koyach, he kneels down. If that's the case, you don't have to help him pick him up. Because another time you don't use such a donkey to take your master, take your, what you have to schlep. You have to take a normal donkey. It happened once. There's a mitzvah of Ozef Tada, but he's a Raftzon. You don't have to help him. So we see that a nun at the end, the Raftzon makes, if it's steady. If it's steady, you call him not a Roivetz, a Raftzon. So if we say that Hashem is Solchon, Imochlon, with a nun at the end, means that Hashem is steady, being Moichel, Seleach, Moichel. The Balatanya brings down in the Geras Achiva. We say 3 times a day, Chanon Amar Belisloyach. It's a bracha that we make. If Chaz v'Sholom, it wouldn't be 100% sure that Hashem is Soleach, we wouldn't be able to make a bracha, because the klal is Sofik bracha is local. If you only have a Sofik, if you have to make a bracha or not, you don't make the bracha, you go lekula. How is Chazal able to make us make a bracha 3 times a day? Chanun amar belisloyach. Because that's the nature of Hashem. Hashem is mar belisloyach. He forgives once, twice. Every few hours you can ask him for forgiveness, and he's being moichel. He never gets upset. A person could say, wow, how many times can I forgive you? 100 times, 1,000 times. Hashem is always a chanun amar belisloyach. Now I'm going to finish off with a story that the Heilige Rishna repeated this story. That this story was with his grandfather, the Moranaim of Chernobyl. Reb Menachem Nuchem of Chernobyl, the Moranaim. He was a grandfather of the Holy Rishna. And it was like this. The grandfather of the Heilige Rishna, the Moranaim of Chernobyl, when he was a child, he was never orphaned from both of his parents. He didn't have a father and not a mother. And his uncle took him into his house, and he took care of him. Now, he was only a nephew. He was an orphan child. And in those days, he didn't have enough to feed everyone. So in that case, sometimes it happened that the nephew got less than the other children. You can understand in those days. So the Maranaim said that when he was a child, he came back from Cheder one Friday, and his aunt, had bacon for the children. He calls it the Yiddish a pletzel. Not a pretzel with an R, with an L, pletzel. A pletzel is like how do you call it? A roll. No, that has a whole, it was a bagel. It's like a bagel, but it's a flat bagel that from both sides it's like baked hard, and in the middle the dough is still like by a bagel. That's called the pretzel. That was once how they made it in Russia, a pretzel. Our pretzels are a little bit similar, but it's like half pretzel and half bagel, so it's called a pretzel. That was what she made for the children, and she had some shamenet, semetana, how do you call it in English, what you put? Cream cheese, something like cream cheese. She had a little bit of cream cheese, so for her children, she put cream cheese on the pretzel. And for him, she gave a pretzel without cream cheese. And he was upset. He was a small child. And he did want cream cheese. So he started thinking, what could he do? He went down to the basement, and he found over there a bowl, and inside was paint. But he was a small child, and he thought white paint, it looked to him a little bit like cream cheese. So he took and he put some of the paint, of the white paint, he put on the pretzel, and he wanted to eat it. He started eating, he saw that he has no cream cheese and no pretzel, everything is gone, it was paint. And that was when he hopped, and he taught himself a lesson for life. You don't take anything by yourself. What Hashem gives you, that's what you have, and you don't take anything by yourself. You can't grab, you can't chop. What Hashem gives you, this is what you have, and this is what you have to accept. And he said that years later, b'meshech his life, it helped him very much. Once, he said, a malach came to him at night, the holy Moiranayim, and he told him, I was created from your limit Torah, and I want to come learn Torah with you. Like the Bas Yosef had the Magid Mesharim that came to learn with him every night. He told him that's the same case. And because of this story, he remembered that you don't grab nothing. You have to decide, you have to think about. And he always liked to ask his Rebbe. His Rebbe was the Magid of Mezrich. So he answered, for this Malach, come back to me tomorrow. I want to speak to my Rebbe. He went over to the Magid and he asked him. The Magid told him, don't you dare learn with him. He is not from the Tzadak Dushe. He is from the Sitra Achre, and he wants to learn with you. He wants to Chaz V'Shulam. So the next night when he came back, he told him, take the road, get rid of me. I don't want to learn with you. So afterwards, the Magid asked him, how did you know to ask? So he said, since I was a child and I had this story with the paint, I learned myself that you don't take anything, you don't grab, you have to ask, you have to see what you get, and only then, if we spoke about a bagel, I'm going to finish with the story of the Holy Rizhiner. We see from this chinuch how he was mechanech his children, discipline. We need it in our days also. We can't do as he did. They say a story that once one of the Chassidim of the Heilige Rizhiner met one of the children. He was a child of 6 years old, and he was holding a big bagel, and he was crying. So the Chassid asked him, why are you crying? So he said, because I'm hungry. So the Chassid asked this child, no, you have a bagel in your hands. Why don't you eat? He said, because our Father teaches us that if you want to, you're not allowed to. If you want, you're not allowed. So he's holding the bagel, and he's hungry, and he's not eating it because he's so desperate to eat it. He has such a strong tzuke, a desire to eat it, and the Father told them that when you have a strong desire, you have to keep yourself back. This is the way how he was mechanech. He brought down neshamas kedoshis. He was able to. we can't do this, but we could bring in some discipline in our children. Not everything that they want, they have to get. They have to know. So Hashem should help. The schis of the Heilige Rishon should be meigen, alleine, weil Kol Yisrael umein. All the best.